Hello, welcome to the channel. My name is JonHut, and today I want to share with you the MXT template, a clean and easy to use template that will speed up your workflow and will simplify the mixing and mastering process. Now, the cool thing about this template is that it includes the MXT Collection, a collection of 10 different plugins that I create with a patcher available to download completely for free for every FL Studio user that will simplify the mixing and mastering process. If you want to know a little bit more about the MXT collection, then I'm going to leave the link of the video on the description below. Now, for whatever reason, if you don't want to use the MXT collection and you are looking for a basic template or how to create your own advanced template, then I'm going to leave the link of these videos also on the description below. And if you like the MXT template and the MXT collection, you can download it from the description below. So with that said, let's have a look to the MXT template. Okay, so this is the MXT template. Now, on this tutorial, I'm going to show you the main windows, which are the playlist, the channel rack, and the mixer. So let's start with the playlist. Okay, so here on the playlist, as you can see, you have the essential tracks already created and divided by groups. So here you have the kick and the click, then the clap and snare, percussion group, the cymbals, bass, chords, melody, effects, and vocals. Now, for the drums and the music elements, you also have the patterns already created, as you can see here on the picker panel. But the patterns of the drums are meant to work if you use a sampler instead of an audio clip. But we are gonna see it now in a second together with the channel rack. Now, the last thing that I wanna mention here on the playlist is that here on the vocal group, these 3 tracks, the vocal 1, vocal 2, and vocal 3 are assigned to these channels on the mixer, which adds a few extra functions. The first one is that if you rename any of these vocal tracks, for example, the vocal number 1, rename, and I'm gonna rename it vocal 22. It will automatically change the name on the insert of the mixer. And the second function is that you can use these tools to assign the input, the recording mode, and arm and disarm the insert, which will speed up a little bit the recording process. So now that we cover the playlist, let's have a look to the channel rack. Okay, so here on the channel rack, you have 12 different samplers, which cover the essential drum kit. Now, all of these samplers are going to his respective mixer insert. And as I mentioned earlier, these tracks are a sampler. So if I open the kick, the sampler is empty, is ready to drag and drop your favorite samplers. But the difference between the sampler and an audio clip is that with the sampler, you have some extra functions. So if I come to the envelope instrument setting, in here you have an envelope and you also have an LFO. And now if I go to the miscellaneous function, you also have some extra function like the arpeggiator, echo delay, fat mode, etc. So all of these functions, you don't have it on an audio clip. Now for myself, I normally work with both a sampler and audio clip. So if you want to use an audio clip, simply go to the browser, go to your library, select the drum that you want to add. In this case, I'm going to add a kick drum. So I'm going to select the kick drum, then drag and drop into the playlist. And here I have my kick drum. Now I just have to right click on it, auto name click, and is already named and color. Now, the last thing that I'm gonna do is to send it to a mixer track. So I'm gonna close the browser, I'm gonna open the mixer, and I'm gonna open this audio clip. Now, here on the audio clip, I'm gonna go to the target mixer track, and I'm gonna send it to his respective insert, in this case, the kick drum. And that's all that you have to do if you wanna use an audio clip. Now, coming back to the channel rack, when you drag an audio clip, it will automatically create create a group for audio. But if you want to send it to a specific group, in this case drums, simply select the audio clip, go to the channel options and select group selected. And now I'm gonna write drums. So now the audio clip of the kick is on the drums group. Now on this template, by default, you only have one group, which is drums. But if you want to create more groups, first you have to start adding instruments. So let's do a quick example. So I'm going to go to the tab All. Now I'm going to go to the picker patterns and I'm going to select the bass. Now with the bass pattern selected, I'm going to go to the plus button and I'm going to add an instrument. In this example, I'm going to add Yuhi Diva. So now that I add the instrument, I'm gonna close it. I'm gonna select the instrument, go to the channel options, and I'm gonna go group selected. And this group, I'm gonna call it synth. And now I have another group for my synths. You can create as many groups as you want for your different elements: instrument, synths, drums, vocal, effects, etc. So now if I go to the channel display filter, you can see that I can select between all, drums or synths. So now that I add my synths, the first thing that I'm gonna do is to send it to his respective instrument track. In this case, as is bass, I'm gonna send it to the insert 13. Bass. And now I'm gonna right click on the instrument, rename and color, and I'm gonna call it exactly the same name as the insert, bass 1. Now I'm gonna assign the color. In this case, the bass is a green. And last, I'm gonna assign the icon. In this case, the icon for a bass. And that's it. Now the instrument match the color of the pattern and the color of the insert. And last, here on the channel rack, if you want to add some notes, just remember, as I mentioned earlier, select the pattern of the instrument that you want to add notes. Now go to the channel rack, and on the channel rack, you can either use the step sequencer or you can right click on it and open the piano roll. Now, if I add a few notes in here and now I close the piano roll, you can see that these notes are automatically added to this specific channel. Same on the playlist. Okay, so now that we cover the channel rack, let's have a look to the mixer. Okay, so here on the mixer, it have exactly the same organization as on the playlist and on the channel rack. It's everything divided by the essential groups. 2 layers for a kick drum, the clap 1, 2, and snare, percussion, the cymbals, bass, instrument 1 and 2, instrument 3 and 4, effects and vocals. Now in all of these individual channels you have a basic parametric EQ. So if I open the parametric EQ, you have 7 different bands. Now the band number 1 and 7 are off by default. The reason for that is because are a high pass filter and a low pass filter. So if you want to cut any of those frequencies, simply enable this band and select the frequency that you want to cut. And also remember to enable the parametric EQ, which by default all of these parametric EQ are off. Now all of these single tracks are going to his respective groups. So here on the right side we have the groups and send section. You can hide it or show up if you need it. So this routing is pretty easy. Both of the kick channels are going to the kick group. The clap number 1, number 2 and the snare are going to the clap and snare group. Percussion number 1 and percussion number 2 are going to the percussion group. Now all of the cymbals are going to the cymbals group. The bass 1 and 2 are going to the bass group. Now instrument 1 and 2 are going to the chorus group, and the instrument 3 and 4 are going to the melody group. The effects 1 and 2 going to the effects group, and last the vocal 1, 2 and 3 are going to the vocals group. Now, the cool thing about this template is that it have included the MXT Collection, a collection of 10 different plugins that will simplify the mixing and mastering process. If you want to know a little bit more about this incredible collection, then I'm going to leave the link of the video on the description below. Now, where are these plugins? Where these plugins are meant to work on your main groups. So if I go into the kick, you can see that the last slot is the MXT kick. The reason for that is because some of these plugins, especially for the individual channels, are meant to work on the last slot of your mixer. So now if I go to the clap and snare, you have the MXT snare ready for you. Same for the percussion, you have the MXT channel. For the cymbals, you have the MXT cymbals. For the bass, the MXT bass. For the chords and melody, the MXT channel. And last, for the vocals, you have the MXT vocal. Next, we have three different sends, a room reverb, a large reverb, and a delay. So the room and large reverb have the MXT reverb, and the delay send have the MXT delay. And last, here on the group section, you have two main groups, the drums and the music. So all of the drums, the kick, the clap and snare, percussion and cymbals, all of them are going to the drum bass. And on the drum bass, you have on the last slot, the MXT bass. And the next group is the music group. So all of the music elements, the bass, chords, and melody are going to the music group, which also have on the last slot the MXT bass. And the rest of the group, the effects, the vocals, and the three different sends are going straight into the master. Same as these two main groups. The drums and the music are going straight into the master. So last, here on the master, you have the MXT Master, an easy-to-use plugin to master your song with three different pages: clarity, loudness, and control. Again, if you want to know a little bit more about these incredible plugins, then check out the video on the description below. And last, here on the master, you have on the last slot a patcher preset for metering and visuals. So if I open this preset, you have an RMS and a peak meter, which you can see it here on the right, a vector scope, which is here on top of the meters to visualize the stereo separation, and last, a tuner. Okay, so that's pretty much the MXT template, a template that I create to simplify the workflow and also the mixing and mastering process. And now I'm just gonna show you the installation process, which is really simple. Now, for this MXT collection, I also create a theme which matches the color of this collection of plugins, which are pretty much a similar color of the FL Studio logo. So if you like this theme, remember that is also included on the MXT collection. So now let's have a look to the installation process. Okay, so the first thing that you have to do is to download the MXT collection from the description below. Now, once you have the MXT collection, simply double click on it and you have three different folders. On the first folder, the MXT collection, you have all of the plugins of this collection. Next, on the template, you have the MXT template, and last, on the theme, you have the MXT theme. So in order to use this template and the MXT collection, first I'm going to show you how to easily install the MXT collection. So first, go to the FL Studio. Now here on FL Studio, simply open the browser, go to the plugin database and go to Effects. Now right click on Effects and go to Open. Now with this folder open, simply go to the folder with the MXT collection, left click on the MXT collection and drag and drop into the Effects folder. So now coming back to FL Studio, let me close the browser, and if I open the mixer and I go to an empty slot, I click on it. Now as you can see in here, you have the MXT collection. So now with the MXT collection on your plugin database, let's add the MXT template to the FL Studio folder. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to add the template to the FL Studio templates folder. And as you can see, I'm using a Mac. But for a Windows user is basically on the same folder. So first I'm gonna open a new Finder window, and now I'm gonna go to Documents. Now here on Documents, I'm gonna go to Image Line, and now on Image Line, I'm gonna go to FL Studio. Now here on FL Studio folder, I'm gonna go to Projects, and on Projects, you have a folder called Template. Simply open this template, go back to the MXT Collection, open the MXT template, and simply drag and drop the MXT template into this folder. As you can see, I already have the MXT template in this folder. So now if I go back to FL Studio, and if I go to File, New from Template, you can see that the MXT template is always ready for you. And last, in order to add the MXT template theme, simply open another window of the Finder. Now go to Documents, go to Image Line, and here on Image Line, go to the FL Studio folder. Now here on the FL Studio folder, go to Settings, and here on Settings, you have a folder called Themes. Simply open this folder, and now simply drag and drop this document into this folder. So now if I go back to FL Studio, if I go to Options and I open Theme Settings, you are gonna see the MXT template theme on this folder. Simply select this theme, and that's it. Okay, that's all for me. Hope you like and enjoy this template as much as I do. If you have any question, please leave a comment below. Thank you very much for watching. My name is JonHut.